Hello, I would like to share a true story that happened to me. About a week before the event, I started waking up on my own around 3 a.m. As depicted in movies, 3 a.m. is often considered the hour when supernatural beings are active. At first, I didn't pay much attention to it, but eventually, I got used to checking the clock every time I woke up. I don't know many prayers, but I would recite the ones I knew, then go back to bed and pull the blanket tightly over me. I didn't hear any noises or experience anything strange. My eyes would just suddenly open at that hour. I thought about sharing it with my family, but I dismissed it as a coincidence. That's how it all began, for 2 days. I stopped waking up at that time. I thought it was just a coincidence and moved on. Until I woke up again at that hour and started walking. Our house is a single-story house with a garden. My father loves taking care of the garden. In our family, my father and I are very close. Once again, I woke up at that hour, but this time I wasn't conscious. Our house has an outer door and a living room door that leads to it, so you have to open 2 doors to get outside. That night, I woke up and, without being fully aware, tried to go outside. First, I headed to the living room door. I opened it, then proceeded to the outer door. But behind the outer door, or rather the wall, I saw my father drinking tea in the garden and heard him calling. "Come, son, let's have tea together." The strange thing was that I could see how my father was sitting and how many glasses were on the table, even though the door was closed, making it impossible for me to see. It was as if I had another eye outside, showing me the scene. When I reached for the door and tried to open it, I realized it was locked, which it always is, but I was trying to open it as if I didn't know that. My mother heard the noise, thinking someone was trying to break in, and shouted, "Who's there?" When I heard her voice, although the distance between the bedroom and where I was is about 10 meters, I could see how she was calling and which direction she was lying, which is impossible. It was as if I had another eye there, showing me my mother. When I tried to open the door again, my mother suddenly appeared behind me and called my name, asking, "What are you doing here at this hour?" My consciousness suddenly returned. "When did I get here?" I asked. My mother said, "Sleepwalking," and I went back to bed. The next day, I asked my mother, "Were my eyes open?" She said, "I don't know, your back was turned to me, but when you turned and looked at me, they were open." "Were my hands in the air?" I asked. "No," she replied. "When you heard my voice, how were you lying in bed?" I asked. "I was lying on my right side, with the blanket pulled up to my shoulder," she said. "How do you know that?" "Did you come into the room?" she asked. Even writing this now gives me chills. When I shared it with others, they insisted it wasn't sleepwalking. I love my father very much. They showed him to me to get me to go outside. The fact that the door was locked was definitely my biggest stroke of luck. Together.